Most people searching for a place to live near Syracuse completely overlook Baldwinsville. And honestly, that might be one of the reasons it's still the best kept secrets in central New York. In this video, we're going over everything you need to know about living in Baldwinsville: the community character, the housing market, the schools, the daily lifestyle, and who this town is actually the right fit for. I'm Tyler Marshall, a real estate agent here in central New York and the host of Living in Central New York, a channel built to help people relocating to the greater Syracuse area make a smart, informed decision before they ever step foot into a showing or sign a contract. Let's start with what makes Baldwinsville different from every other suburb on the central New York map, because there's something here you genuinely can't find in most places. Locals call it Bville, and the moment you drive into the village, you understand why people are protective of it. The historic brick downtown sits right along the Seneca River and the Erie Canal corridor, and it has that rare quality of actually feeling like a place rather than just a suburb. There are walkable shops, diners with that classic diner energy. Think the kind of spot where the staff knows your order. Cafes with riverside views, and a calendar full of community events that people actually show up for. Paper Mill Island sits right in the middle of the river and hosts outdoor concerts, festivals, and seasonal events throughout the year. This isn't manufactured small town charm. It's the real version, the kind that takes decades to build. The honest note I always give buyers: if you need constant energy and a buzzing nightlife scene, Bville will feel quiet to you. Things close earlier here. There's no late night restaurant row. But if you're actually looking for a place where people wave at each other, know their neighbors, and feel genuinely rooted, Baldwinsville delivers that in a way that bigger suburbs like Liverpool or even parts of Clay just can't replicate. Now, let's get into the housing market, because the numbers in 2026 tell an interesting story. Median home values in Baldwinsville are sitting around $300,000 to $312,000 right now, up roughly 7% over the past year. That's meaningful appreciation without the frenzy you see in some of the other CNY suburbs. What you get for that price point is genuinely good value. A mix of historic village homes with character and detail you don't find in newer construction, colonials, and more modern builds in the surrounding areas outside the village core. Inventory is tighter than it looks on Zillow. Homes here move reasonably fast in what I'd describe as a balanced but competitive market. Not the 7-day fire sale pace of North Syracuse, but not slow either. You need to be ready to move when the right house comes up. The reality check I always give buyers considering Bville: property taxes are real here, just like everywhere in central New York. And winter maintenance, heating costs, snow removal, the ongoing upkeep of older homes, that's a real budget line too. Factor that into your true monthly cost before you fall in love with a listing. The sticker price is only part of the picture. And if you want all of this in one place, a complete breakdown of every major suburb in the central New York area, with price ranges, school districts, commute times, and who each community is actually built for, I put together a free resource called the Central New York Master Relocation Guide. It covers the full map, and you can grab this totally free using the link in the description. Now let's talk about commute and location, because this is one of the things that surprises people the most about Baldwinsville. You're about 13 to 14 miles from downtown Syracuse, and the drive on 690 or local roads typically runs 15 to 20 minutes. In most metro areas, that would be nothing. And here, it genuinely is nothing, because CNY traffic is not a serious commute problem. If you're driving into Syracuse for a hospital shift, a university job, or anything in the emerging Micron corridor out toward Clay, Bville puts you in a very workable position. For hybrid workers, people going in 2 or 3 days a week, this commute barely registers. The honest flip side is that Baldwinsville is not a walkable suburb in the urban sense. You will need a reliable car. Public transit exists, but it's not the way people move around here. That's true of basically all CNY suburbs, but it's worth naming if you're you're coming from a city where you've been car-free. What you gain is quick access to everything Syracuse offers: shopping, dining, arts, college sports, without actually living in the city and dealing with city taxes and city noise. Schools are a big reason families specifically seek out Baldwinsville, and the Baldwinsville Central School District earns that reputation. It pulls a B+ overall on niche.com with graduation rates in the 95 to 97% range, solid college prep programming, and strong extracurriculars across music, athletics, and the arts. It consistently ranks among the better districts in the Syracuse area, and the parent feedback I hear most often centers on two things: a genuinely supportive environment and programs that actually show up, not just on paper. If you've been doing the suburban school district comparison across CNY, Beeville holds its own well against the field. It's not Fayetteville-Manlius, which sits at the very top of the regional rankings, but for many families, the school quality combined with the price point and community feel makes Baldwinsville the better overall fit. As always, do your own homework. Verify the specific district boundaries for any address you're serious about, because enrollment zones can be more nuanced than an online search makes them look. Here's what daily life actually feels like in Baldwinsville, and I want to give you the real picture, not just a highlight reel. The four seasons here are genuinely beautiful if you lean into them. Riverside walks along the Seneca in fall, Beaver Lake Nature Center, 600 acres of trails right in the community for summer and shoulder seasons, farmers markets, canal sunsets, community events on Paper Mill Island. The pace of life on weekends in Beeville is slower and more intentional than what you'd find in a denser suburb. Think morning coffee by the water, not brunch reservations at 10 a.m. with a 2-hour wait. For the right person, that is exactly the point. For families especially, that slower rhythm is a feature. Kids are outside. People show up to each other's events. It feels safe and grounded in a way that's hard to manufacture. The downsides are real too. I want to be straight with you. Late night options are limited. Things close earlier than you might be used to if you're coming from a major city. Winters still require preparation, even if the lake effect isn't quite as punishing as the Cicero-Liverpool corridor. You need to like where you are, because Beeville is not a suburb you move to for external entertainment. It's a suburb you move to because you want to actually live in your community. So let's bring it home. Who is Baldwinsville actually worth it for? And who should probably look elsewhere? If you want affordable, family-friendly living, a school district you can feel good about, riverside charm that's genuine and not manufactured, easy access to Syracuse without living in Syracuse, and a slower pace that centers on community, Baldwinsville is going to feel like exactly what you were looking for. I see this happen with buyers coming from metro areas who've been quietly burned out by the noise and the pace. They drive through Beeville once and they're done looking. If you need big city nightlife, walkability in every direction, the lowest possible tax burden, or proximity to a major tech or finance job market, there are probably better fits in the region. But for the right buyer, and I mean this, Baldwinsville delivers a quality of life in central New York that's hard to beat at this price point. It's the kind of place people move to and stay. That's not an accident. And that wraps up this overview video on Baldwinsville. If you're looking to work with me directly, you can contact me using all my contact details below.